Football was back last night. Again, just preseason action. And it can be tough to watch when you get into the second halves of these games.
Oh, it could be tough to watch when you get into the first quarter.
I thought it was perfect last night. Just like with 3 minutes left in the third quarter and the rain comes. Like, yeah, it's good. That's good. You call it.
Yeah, the best thing that happened last night was the fact that they got possession of the football before the half, scored a touchdown. They got possession of the football after the half, scored a touchdown. That's what we always ask for if that scenario plays itself out.
Got a double dip.
If you're on the offense, you double dip. You can either extend the lead by 14, or if you're down by 7, you go ahead and tie it up and then take the lead. That's the scenario you love. Defensively, it's imperative that you make the stop and make the stop out of both. So they can't build any momentum going in, and they don't build momentum coming out of the half.
Bears cover and win outright in the overhit, but none of it really matters because I think most of the books just refunded the bets because the game was truncated.
Didn't go 55 minutes, Carmen.
It did not go 55 minutes.
55 minutes is the rule of thumb.
Yeah. Yes. So I guess there's a lot of competition in the space these days. I think some books did decide to pay out, not all of them, depending on where you were wagering, if you are wagering on the exhibition season. But it was like an easy over, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. We're here to talk about it with you on a Football Friday as the Bears win the Hall of Fame game, a truncated game, 21-17 over the Texans. It's Carmen and Jurko. We got a loaded show today. We've got an announcement about Football Fest in 30 minutes. You're going to want to hear what we have to tell you.
That's right. Football Fest.
Yes.
August 25th.
Big stars coming.
Big star.
Big star.
Big star.
Big stars coming.
Big stars coming.
We'll announce that at about 12:30. At 12:35, we're going to talk to Jason McKee, part of our broadcast crew, who's in Canton. He's obviously going to be there this weekend. He's very close with Devin Hester and was at the game, obviously, last night. We'll talk to him about that. Jimbo Covert, hopefully he'll jump on for a minute, talk about Mongo going in. We got a list today. We got the lunch rush. Mike Note's got the bonus play. I mean, it's a loaded show.
It's
and if
loaded.
Bear fans would like to talk about anything they saw from last night, feel free to jump in at 312-332-3776. The best story to me appeared to be Colin Johnson, big body player that the Bears, grabbed late last year. And he was on the active roster for a couple of games late in the year, but he is a huge body. I noticed him right away at practice on Tuesday. You can't help but notice him. 2 of the catches he had were just, the 2 touchdown catches were pretty much busted coverage. The contested catch down the sideline was a good one.
Well, I think the second touchdown where he ran vertical and then broke toward the outside, that was him just beating a man.
Yeah.
And then the corner
first
that
one was certainly a bust, wasn't it?
The corner that had the flat was occupied with the receiver that was directly in his zone, and being that close to the goal line would have been problematic for him to go ahead and get more depth and challenge a more shallow throw. So nice design. He shook a guy loose, and he ends up making a play.
I thought that was the best story. Look, Brett Rypien doing what he did. He knows this offense inside and out. He was in Los Angeles last year. This is the same offense.
There's nothing wrong with that.
He knows it.
Yeah.
What does it mean for the backup competition?
Well, you'd want to have the best quarterback. If your player gets hurt, you want the best quarterback in there that allows you a chance to win.
Maybe it stiffens a little bit.
Something does happen to Caleb Williams, well, you're not just going to waste everybody else that you have. You want to have a chance to be competitive, and you want to have a chance to win.
So it was a good foot forward for him when you think about it. Now, maybe Bajan gets an opportunity to match and play even a little bit more as the preseason goes on. I mean, Bajan only attempted 3 passes, but that was a good look for Rypien as he fights to earn a spot on this team.
It's a good look for
Rypien
for everybody else in the NFL.
That's true, too.
That's what he is. He's got some film. It's out there. Everybody can look at it. The best thing 80 did yesterday.
What was it? That's Colin Johnson.
After butchering the ball, the first ball that went his direction, he absolutely butchered. Remember the play?
Yeah.
He was going to go for a first down. He ends up dropping the ball. He responded by not dropping anything else that was thrown to him the rest of the day.
Good call.
And making 2 pretty competitive catches in traffic.
Good call.
So good for him. That's what he was able to do. You would expect a veteran player, a guy that's been around a while, to be able to forget about the easy drop and then come back in and catch everything that's thrown his way. He did it. So I think that was the best thing that he ended up doing last night.
All right, what stood out to you, Bears fans, from yesterday, if you were watching the game? 312-332-3776. Anything else stand out to you? The running backs look good, but I have no worry about any of the running backs.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Put him in
Herbert
there,
averaging a nice
the ball out.
for 8 yards a carry or whatever he had. And
I don't know why they don't like Herbert over there.
I don't know either.
I have zero idea what they don't like. Either. They brought in a guy that's a worse pass blocker than he is, and they basically gifted him the starting job.
Yeah, I don't know what they don't like.
He's a worse pass blocker than Herbert. Whatever it is, they don't like him. Don't worry, somebody in the NFL will, and he'll be on a roster if the Bears decide to move on from him. He'll be on a roster someplace else.
Well, I would think they move on next year when he's out of contract.
Whenever they decide to move on from him, he'll have a job in the NFL. I don't think that'll be a problem.
I don't think it'll be a problem either.
Yeah.
Anything else stand out to you? Anything defensively? And the Texans going right down the field on the opening drive?
There's a kid on the corner, number 37, I think it was, that should have had an interception.
Yes.
Ball hit him in the head, for heaven's sake. Okay, you're breaking on the player, but you got to periph the football. You're breaking on the player, right?
Yeah.
You know where he's at. You also have to periph the football. The ball bounced off your melon, dude. It went right off the crown of your helmet. That could have been a big play for them.
That's not good.
The other thing that stood out, you need to hold on to the ball when you catch it. You can't fumble. And Dante Pettis, if you're going to be anything, you're back there. Is that 81? Is that him that fumbled the punt?
Yes.
The punt? Can't do that. We had enough of that with Velus Jones Jr., okay?
Yeah.
We had enough of that.
Yeah.
We don't need that anymore, okay? Let's not get back to doing something as silly as we've done before.
What'd you think?
So you've got to catch the ball.
What'd you think of the kickoff? Kickoff
stupid.
rule. You think it's stupid?
Unexciting.
Already?
It was dumb.
It didn't provide it. Why were guys slipping everywhere? Was the field just
Field
the
must have
condition
been
of the
moist.
field?
Must have been moist. It must have been wet.
I mean, the guys seem like they got
Slipping
all
all over
excited.
the
Oh, I
place.
got this head of steam. Oh, it's not as much room as I thought. And then they slip and fall.
I'm going to tell you why.
Slip and fall face.
I'm going to tell you why it doesn't work. Do you want to know why it doesn't work?
Sure.
The timing of the blocking doesn't work out.
How so? What do you mean?
The guy that's coming down 5 yards apart, okay, at that point, you've got to plant and you've got to take. They can easily run around the blocker. They got so much space where they can run around the blocker.
The kicking team.
The kicking team. The group that's at the 40, right?
Right, they're at the 40.
The other group's at the 35.
At the 35.
And the ball gets kicked down to the 5. There's so much disparity in space there.
Yeah.
That the guys that are attacking, right? These guys that are attacking the guy that's going to get the ball have so much time to get around the block. You're going to have 5 guys unblocked going at the ball carrier every single time. I thought the first return they had a chance because it looked like they were trapping a guy on the perimeter.
Yeah.
And it looked like they had some limited guys. They were angling off to the right. If he could have cut back left, I think he'd had some area to go ahead and run. But you also have, if you can break the first line, you've got something going. The problem is they weren't even remotely close to breaking any lines yesterday.
Do you know what I was surprised to hear on Waddle and Silva yesterday?
What?
The guys talked about this. And I don't know, maybe I should have researched it myself.
Right.
So they adopted this rule from the XFL, right?
Yes.
Do you know how many return touchdowns there were in the XFL last year?
2.
1.
Yeah. So they brought back the excitement, but really didn't bring back anything.
And I don't know why I didn't think, shame on me when this first was introduced, like something should have said, go see. I don't know. I guess I just assumed it would have been more. And the guys talked about it yesterday. I think Waddle brought it up. He goes, wasn't there like 1 touchdown last year? And then they checked, there's 1 touchdown. Yeah. I was like, wait, there was 1 touchdown? How many kickoff return touchdowns were in the NFL last year?
Oh, you've got to take a
look. I got to look at that one too. They were talking about it yesterday. And I was like, wow, 1 touchdown. For some reason, shame on me, I thought there were like 8 in the XFL last year or 10. Like, let's try that one. There was 1 return. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Listen, it's a handful of plays. Like, let's see. Let's give it a chance to breathe. Jurko brings up some interesting points from just like a schematic standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, I noticed it looked like returners were slipping and falling and didn't have nearly the kind of head of steam maybe they thought they were going to have.
So we used to do the wedge. The wedge would set up in front. Now they've outlawed the wedge anyway.
Yeah.
So you can't do it. But we set up about 10 yards in front, 10 yards into the left, 10 yards into the right. We would sweep 1, 2, 3, and maybe even 4, with 1 being the safety. So we'd block 2, 3, 4 on the right side. We call them R1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
The wedge was accounting 4 guys for 3. We're sweeping over with our front 5 going left, right? So kick, not accommodating, not accounting for the kicker and the other guy on the opposite side, the other safety. So the one guy would drop back. Us 4 had those 4. Any way that it worked out, if one guy didn't have a guy, they slashed down, they slanted in. The other guy went up to try to get the safety. We're very successful in Green Bay. We're the top kickoff return team, I think, in 93.
Were you?
Yeah, we had a ball. We had Corey Harris back there and Robert Brooks. 2 very good returners. I think Robert Brooks had a couple of touchdowns back in the day. But either way, that's how we accounted for it. But those blocks set up 10 yards in front of guys running close. Right. That way, when the blocks took place, He was able, the running
to read the block.
The guy that has the football can read the blocks, have enough time to maneuver, get through, and you didn't have to sustain a block
so you're saying,
for 25 yards.
I see what you're saying.
Because that's impossible.
That's a great way you just summed it up.
So the timing of the play where they set up at the 40 and the 35 will not allow you to have any success unless guys miss tackles.
Okay.
If guys miss tackles,
so you're saying
that's the way.
It's not as easy as maybe we all thought it would be for the returner to read the block just because of the condensed nature of like where those players are coming from.
If anything, you should give them a 10-yard cushion, which doesn't allow you to build the speed. Get those guys back another 5 yards. So if they're at the 40, get them at the 30. That way they can give a little bit, get some speed, and then time their blocks out. So it's the timing of the blocks that's the problem. Because there's nobody that can engage a guy at the 35 when the guy's receiving the ball at the 5 and be able to hold the block for the better part of 25 yards. It's impossible.
Right.
That's it.
I think there were 3 touchdowns last year, if I'm looking at it right.
So they adopted
they
adopted a system that was even more boring.
It looks like there were 4. If I've got accurate stats here, 2023, it looks like Andrew Beck, Marvin Mims, Damian Pierce, Jalen Reagor. Are those the only 4? It looks like it. So 4 touchdowns in the NFL with the old rule and 1 in the XFL. So I don't know. Again, we'll let it breathe. We'll see. But I didn't think it was like anything too particularly sexy, obviously, last night. Thoughts on the Bears' victory? Thoughts on the first exhibition game? 312-332-3776. We'll talk more about it with Jason McKee when he joins us at about 12:35. Right before we talk to Jason, I mentioned we will have an announcement about Football Fest. Get a big star added to the festivities coming up on Sunday. What is it? Is it August 25th? Do I have the date right? I think it's the 25th, Yerk. Yeah, Sunday, August 25th at Hard Rock Casino. Also, in the next half hour or so, we'll give a few sets of tickets away to Football Fest if you want to win. You can buy them, and they're very inexpensive. Just go to hardrockcasinonorthernindiana.com or go to ticketmaster.com. It's Carmen and Jurko. We'll be right back.